3 years ago, I gained 160,000 followers in about 8 months. Now I'm going to do it again. So here are my best social media hacks, part one. So last time I did this, it was for my company TikTok at Catherine Anjai. I had a founder profile where I was basically posting 7 times a day for 2 years. I just feel like content is such a quantity game, so I might as well optimize for the most amount of chances to go viral and convert to a sale. A sale for me was a cord blood banking kit. So basically a kit that pregnant parents could buy, bring with them to birth. They can use the tools in the kit at birth in order to freeze stem cells from their umbilical cords and placenta to use for potential future disease treatment in the family. And this was something that my younger brother could have used because he had cerebral palsy. That concept within itself is so novel that it kind of inherently went viral. But I really think social media has changed even just a couple of years. And honestly, I think it changes every single month, sometimes even in a week span of time. So it's kind of interesting to optimize this time for growing followers rather than sales of a product. And it's also interesting to do it in 2025 because I actually think, although my last skills definitely helped in terms of leveling my expectations for how quickly I should expect to grow and what kind of view count I want to see and what goals I should be setting, the actual playing field of growth hacking social media is completely different this time around. So number one, my biggest hack, especially if you're optimizing for followers, is to share a personal story. So for instance, whenever I'm giving my business tips on this account, I am sharing a personal anecdote to accommodate that tip. In general, with content, you want to show, don't tell when you're giving a recommendation or a tip to someone. But with a lot of business things, you can't necessarily show the actual footage, or I don't have video evidence of when these things happen. So instead, I am sharing a personal story and I'm showing and not telling that way. For example, when I've been making videos about how to cold email, then I go ahead and tell a story about how cold email really worked for some of the most influential people in my career. And I would email them over 13 times. And I've noticed that when I forget to share a personal story and I'm just spewing a business tip, people just see me as a billboard for business tips. It doesn't convert to followers, but instead it just serves as like, oh, I like that person's content rather than they like me as a person. So they aren't incentivized to follow me. So you want to make sure when you're doing content that A, you're helping someone by providing some information. So when you're making content, you want to make sure that you're either educating or entertaining. And either way, you want to make sure that at the end of it, you are sharing a personal anecdote because that is what gets people to like you and not just like your content. And that is really what converts the most to followers rather than just some likes and views. However, I think if you want to convert to sales, that's a whole other ball game where you want to demonstrate really clearly the personal story is actually the problem that someone would be facing and then your product solving that solution. But either way, you are sharing a story that is getting someone to take action because they want to have to be the person that they're following in some way, shape, or form. Also, I'm experimenting with this new like makeup content form. I don't know how people that do get ready with me can focus and tell a good story at the same time. It's genuinely such a skill because when I'm doing makeup and making content, it's really hard for me to do both. Anyway, follow me for business tips.